So in today's video, I just want to tell you how you can save thousands of dollars working a 9 to 5. So if you want to find out, watch until the end of the video. Now this is something that I've done many times before in my life, especially over the past few years, is save up money. And you may have your own personal reasons, and that may be a motivation for you. Like you might want to save to buy a car or some kind of big purchase to go traveling, even buy a home, which is more so like for your long-term savings. But how you will want to do this is you're just working your 9 to 5, right? And let's say you're not necessarily trying to change your job, or maybe you are, but maybe not so soon, or you're just like, you have a decent job already. Reduce your expenses as much as possible, okay? So your transportation expense, for example, if you don't necessarily need a car, then ride a bicycle kind of thing. Because a bicycle is so cheap, like you can get nice bicycles for really cheap. And it will get you from point A to point B, even if you have to ride like 30 minutes an hour on a bicycle to get where you need to be. That's like exercise, like that's health. It's like double, killing two birds with one stone. And then the other thing is that your if you drive a car, if you have to have a car for your work or to commute to work, get like a cheaper vehicle. Like don't get like a brand new vehicle and then you gotta pay like 500, 600 bucks a month for the payments. Get like a Toyota Yaris or like a Toyota Corolla or something, but that might be something like that you have to work up to, like maybe you can't afford a vehicle now. Or you could take public transportation. You could take the bus or whatever. That, you know, would be more expensive than taking a bike. But if you have good public transportation in your city, you can take the bus to go to work or go to school or whatever. And maybe it's a bit too far to ride your bike for you. So you ride the bus, and that's actually cheaper than driving a car in most cases, if it's like a bit of a longer distance, because you're gonna pay like a couple bucks to take the bus. But to drive your car, you're probably gonna spend like 10 bucks a day or in gas or and also maintenance and insurance and all that type of stuff. But yeah, also your food expenses, you know. So you do your shopping for food and stuff. Like if you see like a really good sale, if you have like a bit of money like already like in the bank, you can literally like stockpile. Like if you got one of those chest freezers in your home, you can like stockpile like organic beef or some kind of like nice meat or whatever, like, or whatever vegetables, like, I don't know, maybe you're a vegetarian, I don't know, you know, what your diet is, but stockpile like the stuff that you can freeze or preserve, and that will give you a financial advantage, and also take advantage of any free food you can get. Go like foraging in the wild for wild mushrooms, like chanterelles, because I'm from the west coast of Canada. I'm in Mexico, Oaxaca, Mexico right now, but because I'm from the west coast of Canada, I forage for chanterelles. And those are really delicious wild mushrooms, but also in the summer or around the summertime or springtime, there's wild berries like salmon berries, blackberries, all different types of berries. And those are really delicious too. You can put them in smoothies, eat them like that, or whatever. And yeah. And then another thing is your housing costs, okay? So maybe like, you know, where you live is really expensive for housing. Well, there's so many different options to reduce your cost of living for housing, but some people literally live in their vehicles. Like this vehicle that I'm in, my vehicle here, a Honda CR-V, it's quite spacious. If I remove that back seat, I could literally like live in here. It would be a little bit uncomfortable, but whatever, I don't care. I don't mind like roughing it, you know. Or you can live in a van or something like. So some people do that to save money, but then you also have the increased cost of gas and maintenance and all that type of stuff. But even considering that, it's cheaper normally than renting, especially if you're not like driving your vehicle like that much and spending like tons of money on gas. Like ideally you could live in your vehicle and literally park outside of your work. That would be ideal. but obviously not everybody has that luxury, or not everybody can do that. But you can also say, you could also, if just temporarily, possibly, you could like live with your parents or your relatives for a while, and just like just you know, if they're willing to help you out, you know, and let you live at their place for free or whatever for a while, or for cheap rent, live with them for a while, have a job wherever they're located, and save up a bunch of money. You know, that's something I've done before too. Or if you have to rent a room, like rent a cheap room, like you could even like camp outside in a tent, like in the summertime, get a gym membership to take a shower, just rip around, like have a bicycle to get around, like maybe stash your like possessions, like your less valuable possessions, like stash them in the bushes or something, and just literally live homeless style. Like, I've camped out homeless before when I was working in like remote locations and stuff. Like, I've never lived homeless like permanently or whatever, but I don't mind like sleeping in the bushes. I don't really care, you know? Like, a place to sleep is a place to sleep, you know? But yeah, and there's so many little things that you can do to save money. Like, let's say just saving on electricity, like turning off the lights, like maybe just not using so much electricity kind of thing. Or yeah, lots of little things you can do to be more frugal, to like be the ultimate cheapskate, you know. And then what you can also do is you can look at your work situation, and you know, see if you can get a different job to make more money, you know, because chances are the job that you have now is like not that good of a job, and there's probably other companies that will pay you more, and you just have to like have that improvement mentality, like to upgrade your employment situation. Or if you're just like, you're cool with your job, you just want to keep the same job you have for a while, like literally on the weekends you can work like another job, or you can do like odd jobs and stuff like that. I find that if I'm just doing like odd jobs and stuff, like for people, they're not, a lot of people, they're actually willing to pay me pretty good. So that's one thing. When I'm in Canada, when I was in Canada, I would do like odd jobs and stuff like that, like literally all the time, like staying super busy. And like that way I would literally use that money that I made from working odd jobs and whatnot, I would use that to pay the gas for my car, the insurance for my car, and like food and stuff like that. And then, so that would cover like a decent amount of my expenses and allow me to save more. Actually, at one point I worked two jobs, one job like 2 days a week, and then another job 5 days a week, just working 7 days a week. And at that time I saved up a lot of money too, because my roommate gave me like a bunch of free food and stuff, and because she got all this like food that she didn't want, and so I would just like make meals like with like this random stuff, and then I would ride my motorcycle to work, like, in like a 125cc motorcycle is like dirt cheap, because it's like the insurance is cheap, or the insurance is relatively cheap. The gas is cheap, like, because it's like insanely fuel efficient. Like a 125cc fuel injected motorcycle is like insanely fuel efficient, you know. But a scooter is also pretty fuel efficient too. It's a decent option for transportation. Even a 50cc scooter is not bad, but it's lacking in power, you know. But so I would ride my motorcycle to work, like working two jobs, like just spending like literally I spent like $5 a week on gas or something, because I worked like, where I worked was like relatively close, and then the motorcycle like was like nothing for insurance, like nothing for gas, like, and then I was collecting literally two paychecks, like one like normal paycheck, like a big decent like paycheck for my full-time job, and then the other job I was working 2 days a week, and I would collect like a decent little paycheck for that. And that paycheck from my job that I was working 2 days a week actually was about, probably, I'm not really sure, like maybe 500 and something bucks, or $500 every 2 weeks or something like that. But then that's like $1,000 a month. That was literally enough to pay the rent for the room that I was renting at that time. And so I was making bank at that time, you know. And of course, you know, everybody's situation is different. You know, I realize that if you have kids, or if you know, have financial troubles or have very high expenses, this is going to differ for you. Maybe you'll have to look for like a higher paying job if your expenses are really high. You'll have to, you know, if you're not really super skilled, but you have very high expenses, you'll have to look for a higher paying job, which is, you know, maybe working in like the oil fields or working in a mine or something, because it's like, if you're not necessarily educated, but if you are smart, you can get a job working at one of those types of places, or even like, you know, just get a job like super close to home and then get rid of the car, and then you cut your expenses there, you know, kind of thing. If you don't need a car necessarily, you can get rid of your car, and then you can just walk to work or ride your bike to work or whatever, and cut that, you know, cut out the transportation expense almost entirely. And yeah, there's so many different work opportunities, so definitely look into that, and try not to spend like too much on like wild stuff, like the whatever stuff that you don't need, like video games, like books, whatever. Like, you can, you know, books are amazing, but you can literally borrow books from the library instead of, or get them like for super cheap. But like, I noticed that like at my ultimate like penny pinching moment, like I was saving so much because I would literally like pinch every penny. You know, I was the literal Mr. Krabs. Like, I would literally like, I was like so cheap, you know, like, but I was living so good, and like just working my ass off and saving tons of money, because I would literally like, I wouldn't spend on like anything. Like, I would only buy the things that I need. So when you buy something, think to yourself, do I need to buy this? Or is this like some kind of like a mental condition? Is this like a compulsion or something? Like, just like, you know, when you buy, because when you buy things, you get like this dopamine hit, you know. So definitely think before you buy things, you know, and just like, you know, have a budget. Like, write out your budget. Okay, this is my rent, this is, you know, and then like make, you know, designate a certain amount of money for food, and try to stick within that budget and not go over, and don't like go eat at restaurants and stuff like that, because that's hella expensive. Just, you know, stick to your budget and just like be like stoic, and just have this like, you know, really you know, kind of strong mentality when it comes to saving and whatnot. And I know that if you do that, and if you follow what I say, your chances are a lot higher that you're going to be able to save thousands of dollars working a 9 to 5. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next one.